Hey guys, welcome to episode 6 of the game plan. Back in the gym today, back training some arms for you guys. Who doesn't love training arms? Ever since I was a kid, I had an obsession with trying to build my arms. I was always doing curls. I had dumbbells at home that I would curl at night time. And when I went to the gym, most of the time it was upper body, it was arms. To be honest with you, I didn't start training legs for probably a couple of years after I got into weights. Well, not properly anyway. Which probably has something to do with why I'm playing catch up with my hamstrings and calves nowadays. I wish I put as much effort into my legs as I did my upper body when I first started, but what can you do? When you're a kid, all you want to do is grow big arms. So I've been lucky enough over the years to train with some pretty amazing bodybuilders. And when it comes to the arms department, I was able to, Lee Priest got me ready for 2012 and 2013 contests, and I got to train alongside him a lot as well. So one of the biggest things that I took from training with Lee that I changed, that made me change everything that I was doing for arms pretty much, was form. He was super strict with form. Even when it was a lot of weight, he was still controlling the negative, the positive, contracting the muscle that he was working. And that makes all the difference I found with arms. It's a small muscle, there's small muscle groups. You don't want to swing the weight, you don't want to use momentum. You want to make sure that muscle is working to its maximum potential, on the positive and negative of the movement. So that was one of the first things that changed my arm training completely. You only have to go into gyms and look around to see guys heaving, 100 kilos on curls for their biceps, doing crazy weights on triceps. There's no need for that. If you can use your biceps, a heavy weight on biceps, even for me, like a barbell curl, I'll probably be lucky to do 60 kilos on a barbell curl. For a majority of my working sets, if I'm doing like 8 to 12 reps, because I'm working the bicep. But arms is definitely one of those ones, those body parts that you have to just leave your ego at the door when you walk into the gym. Train the bicep properly, flex it, control the way down, squeeze it, and then you're going to get results. You can be curling and doing all sorts of things all day long. You're not going to see any results if you're not doing it properly. Another thing with biceps as well is genetics. I'm not going to have Lee Priest biceps. I'm not going to have Ronnie Coleman's biceps. The difference in peaks is genetic. Not even everybody can get a bicep peak. Some guys just have a long, flat bicep. So the insertion of your muscle bellies is different from person to person. That's just how it is. Sorry to break it to you, but not everyone is going to have big, thick biceps with a peak on them. It's just genetics. But in saying that, we can all train our asses off and build our biceps up to be, our arms up to be the best that they can be. And today I did a basic arm workout for you guys, biceps and triceps. And I'm going to do a voiceover now coming up. So I'll just explain to you guys what I'm doing while I'm doing it and give you a few tips hopefully along the way.
All right, so here we go with this arm workout. Now, my biceps are a little bit behind my triceps, so that's the reason why I always start with biceps. And for years, as I was younger, I always used to just curl heavy and just go straight to standing barbell curls, even preachers with the bar. And I used to get a lot of pain in my forearm, like on top of my forearm, brachialis. And it used to be a nightmare. It kind of turned into like a tendonitis issue as well, inflamed tendons, and it just wouldn't get better. But my mentality was that I had to do really heavy barbell preacher curls with the easy bar to get big biceps. So since training with like Lee Priest and a few other guys that have amazing arms, I've just seen the way that they do things is very different to the old school kind of mentality that I had. I'm doing a one arm dumbbell preacher here. The reason being, it might not look as if it's a whole lot of weight, but because it's so isolated and it's that one arm, and you're going to, you're not going to have like the strength differences between the two arms. You're only just going to concentrate on that one arm. Because I know myself, my left arm it's bigger. It's bigger than my right arm, but my right arm is much stronger. So I'll do more reps with my right arm. Whereas if I was to do it with a barbell, I would have stopped because my left arm would have been sore, but I can still do more with my right. So that's why I really enjoy doing these one arm movements for biceps. And I try to get, with everything that I do, I try to get a nice slow stretch, and then I come up and squeeze it as hard as I can. But this exercise is a really good one to start the bicep workout, just to really isolate it, pre-fatigue it before you go into all of your curls. Depending on how you curl, it's very easy to use your shoulder, your front delt, and your back when you curl. So, second exercise, I moved on to these barbell curls, standing curls. And then with these, I try to keep the form the same. Now, just because it's a barbell curl doesn't mean that you have to start throwing it and swinging it around. I don't really ever do that unless I'm actually doing like a cheat curl type movement. I try to keep my elbows exactly where they are, back nice and tight, pinned. And then all I do is just lift up with my biceps. So if you guys aren't already doing like not slow negatives, but just controlling the negative on the way down, and then come up and squeeze as fast as you can, like that makes such a big difference. But in order for it to work, you really have to explode out of the bottom of the rep. So I feel it on the way down, and then I really explode up with the bicep as much as I can. And be hard on yourselves by only allowing the muscle that you're working to do the work. Try not to let your back and your front delts kick in too much. Like at the bottom of each rep, I kind of just reset everything, and I just think about what muscle I'm actually working and getting the proper squeeze on it. So you have to be mindful of what you're doing while you're training, especially with small muscle groups, biceps, calves, triceps. You have to really think about it and don't use too much momentum, because as soon as you start swinging all over the place, you're going to start shortening the movement, and the movements aren't really that long for biceps and that anyway. So you definitely don't want to cheat yourself on any reps. And then I moved on to these, I think I saw Phil Heath do these ages ago, and it was kind of interesting that he does 5 on one arm, 5 on the other arm, and then back again to do the other 5. So 10 reps total, but just 5 and 5. So you just get a little rest while you get that 5. And I'm not alternating my wrist. I'm just keeping my wrist neutral for these curls, and my elbows back. I've got the bench on like a slight incline. I'm pretty much just back, I think, a couple of notches, whatever the bench went back. So I'm probably at like 60 degrees or something like that on the bench. But it's hard, and you want to be able to work up to a same working set. Your working sets should all be hard. There shouldn't be a such thing as an easy working set. Even on my light days where I do like a 20, 25 reps or whatever, that doesn't mean that it's easy. It's always going to be hard, and I'm always pushing myself as much as I possibly can. And that's, the output, what you guys put in is what you're going to get out of it. So you've got to make sure that you guys really push yourself on the working sets. I can tell people how basic, if I told people that didn't actually train with me, if I told them what exercises I do, they would probably laugh and say that, it's really easy the way that I do it. But it's the amount of effort and intensity you put into it. That's what's going to get the results. And you can't teach that, and you can't really tell people that. And that's why I don't do online training programs and consults, because it's very, very hard to explain the intensity that you need to be able to grow muscle. And then you saw that I did those hammer curls across the body. So I just come across and squeezed. So obviously working a lot more forearm and lower bicep as well. I mix that one up. I don't always do it like that. Sometimes I'll do just like a normal hammer curl, straight up. Or even with a barbell sometimes as well. But those ones across the body, I like to do those. And then moved on. That was it for biceps. Then I moved on to tris. And arms are already pretty pumped from all the bicep work. So now with triceps, I always start with some kind of push down first. So straight bar push down, absolutely perfect. You just need to make sure that you're squeezing it and you're staying up. You don't want to turn a tricep push down into a closed grip bench press. So don't lean over it and don't, throw it down. You really have to keep your elbows back and use your triceps. That's what it's there for. Make the movement harder on yourself, not easier. Even when it gets hard, keep squeezing them out. Then I moved on to these dips, and man, this is an awesome exercise to really just develop thickness through the triceps. I've only been started to do these again for probably the last few months, but fantastic movement for your triceps. Really puts a lot of mass on the long head of your triceps as well. And this is a little bit of a different one, so you guys can try this out. Let me know what you think. But I absolutely hate doing skull crushes with the bar. It kills my elbows. I don't get a good tricep pump out of it. All it does is just feel like I'm ripping my elbows apart. So I've gone onto the Smith machine, and this is like in between a close grip bench press and a skull crusher. It looks like this would be harsh on my elbows, but personally, I don't feel this at all. I don't feel anything but the load on the long head and my triceps. So that's an awesome one for you guys to try. And then I do as many of those ones as I can. But take note of the position of the bar when I was doing that movement, and you can see, like, when you do it yourself, you can kind of see where the bar has to come, so you can position yourself. Then moved on to triceps with the rope. Now I really flare my arms, my elbows out, and really try to get the outer head of the tricep towards the outer part near the forearm. And just trying to get that, trying to activate that, I find if I put my elbows out and really flare the rope at the bottom, I get a little bit more of a squeeze on that part of my tricep. And again, everything is like 3 to 4 working sets to failure as much as I can. It's all about intensity, effort and intensity.
And there you go. There's my arm workout for today. So if there's anything that I would want you guys to take from the videos that I filmed for you all, it's, leave the ego at the door and, just train properly. Train the muscle directly. Train it intensely and train it with purpose. Going to the gym with a purpose. If you're going to train your bicep, think about your bicep when you're training it. Think about the full range of movement, stretching the bicep, squeezing the bicep. Obviously, you want to lift heavy weights. Heavy weights is going to make the muscle grow, but don't sacrifice form just for the sake of weights. Make sure that the weights progressively still keep going up, but the form has to be down pat to begin with. Don't start swinging the weights on the 3rd or 4th rep thinking that you're going to build a bigger arm, because you won't. I made that mistake. A lot of people make that mistake. And you go back to the basics, slow the movements down, get a weight that you can control. And in that way, when you do build up, you're using proper form, you're going to get the most out of that muscle group. So full range of motion, positive, negative control, they're the best, the best ways for you to be able to grow your arms. And don't let anybody tell you that you can't grow a certain muscle group, especially arms. I've had people tell me in the past that, if you don't have this muscle group by now, you'll never have it. Or just like stupid comments like that. People, I've even looked at certain people and thought, he'll never have arms. It's just not kind of in his genetics. But then that guy's proved me wrong. So don't listen to anybody that says that you can't have arms or you can't have calves or whatever until you've actually put all of the work in for years, years on end. Then you'll know for sure. But don't let somebody else tell you, you're not going to have biceps, so you don't bother. It's you all just keep training hard, keep watching these videos. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the button somewhere up here. Subscribe to all the Massive Joe's videos. Stay up to date with everything that the whole team's doing, not just me. And I'll see you guys in the next video. So don't forget, leave your comments if there's certain videos or things that you'd like me to discuss in future episodes. Comment down below in the YouTube box. I'll reply to your messages. I do see them, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. So I'll see you all in the next episode.